Hi loves, it's Lacey and welcome to our space. So today we are going to be doing some last minute fall door decor pieces. Starting off with this first project, you are going to need a wood round from Dollar Tree, and I have some paints here. I don't really like Dollar Tree paints, so we're going to be using Waverly chalk paint in ink. I also have it in white, in maize, which is this nice yellow color, and some apple barrel that is an orange called Spice Carrot. I also have this twine. It's baker's twine. I don't know why I picked it up twice. It is the black and white, and it came from Dollar Tree, and some wooden letters. You're going to need 2 packs of these because we need 2 of one of the letters. I also am showing you a bunch of different ribbon that I have from Dollar Tree. I'm only going to use the small one that has the pumpkins on it. I thought I might use this one, but it's awful big for this project, and I really don't care for the gold around it. I also have these leaves from Dollar Tree. We're probably only going to be using one of them. I also found one in my stash that's from Dollar Tree, and we're going to be using candy corn. Everything came from Dollar Tree except for the paints. So we're going to start off first here, following the wood grain of our wood round with the Waverly chalk paint and ink. And I don't know why I pulled out this little foam brush from Dollar Tree. I don't even like them. I ended up getting a bigger one to cover this entire thing, and then we're just going to set it aside to dry. Then I have the letters, and we're going to be spelling out hello. So you're going to need 2 L's. That's why you need 2 packs. I'm starting off with the white Waverly chalk paint, and I am just painting the top of the L's with the white section there. And I have a different brush for each one of these. I flipped it around so then I could do the middle section because I really just kind of like painting that direction with the Spice Carrot, which is the apple barrel paint. I don't have any orange paint from Waverly that I could find anywhere, so we are using the Spice Carrot. And then I am going to complete the bottom of it with the maize with another brush here. As you can see, we're painting the word hello to look like candy corn. Now, I did a really sloppy job of painting this the first time around. I'm just trying to get the paint on and see how I like it and where I like it. And then I do go back with a second coat. Now, I also make sure that I do the undersides, like the bottoms and each side and the top of all of these pieces, because you will be able to see them when it's up on our wood round. And I really love the pop of color and it looking like candy corn against the black background. So once I get this done and I do a second coat on all of the colors, I'm going to set that aside to dry as well. And I'm lucky because, as you can see, I have long nails, so fun fact, I do not like my nails in this video. I thought I'd go ahead and try red because everyone told me to try red, but I think it looks horrible on me. But here we go. Back to our DIY. I am going to place the word hello at the top and give it a little bit of a curve. I love to dry fit pretty much everything I do. If you have been on my channel for a while, you know that I dry fit it to make sure I know how I like it before I actually glue it down. And if I were you, I would put down the middle L first because then there's 2 letters on each side, and then space them out. And I would glue the middle L first. I did not. I went ahead and I'm gluing the H first, and then I'm going from there, and I'm going to glue them all down. They have a lot of surface area, and I'm actually smearing the glue around with my Ryobi hot glue gun. It is battery operated, and I'm using Gorilla hot glue sticks, which I always do in all of my projects. So make sure you put them on the right side up too. The L's is not a problem, but the other 3 letters would be. So now I'm taking back out my candy corn. I opened it beforehand because I did spray them with some clear acrylic spray paint. This is candy. If you're going to make this project, then this candy is going to be out, and I am worried about insects. I'm worried about it like actually doing something because it's just candy sitting out in the air. So I did spray mine. You can Mod Podge yours. You can put them down first like this too, and then put Mod Podge over it. Or I have seen people actually with candies that are out like this color them in with clear nail polish, and it just seals them from being out into the open and having insects want to find it. So as you can see, I am trying my best to make a pumpkin. When I showed this to my mother, she thought it was a heart at first. But once I get it all adorned, it looks like a pumpkin. Now in the middle at the top, it should be a little more curved, but I'm making it kind of pointed in the area because I'm going to be covering that section up. And so I don't have to worry about it. But I'm just going to easily take and glue down each piece and try to keep the shape that I think is okay for this. I should have did like a bigger wood round or a bigger square sign, and I could have did it a little bit better on here, but I like it. You can do yours if you're going to make this on a bigger thing, or you probably can make a better pumpkin than I did. So I've just glued them all down on here, and once you get them on, they will stay. Now if you want to move one and you peel it off, it's going to peel off the candy and leave the glue and stuff behind, so be aware of that. Now I'm taking, and I know this is going pretty fast because it's just some wired jute. This is wired jute, I think from Walmart I have, but Dollar Tree sells it. I just didn't have any in my stash. And I am making a stem to this. I wasn't going to do this at first. I was going to make the stem out of the candy corn, but I looked at my stash and I thought I'd prefer to do this. So all I did is wrap it around itself and bend it in half. Now I'm going to take one of these leaves. It's from Dollar Tree too. I looked at the colors of the other leaves and I decided I wanted one that was a little more orange. So I'm just gluing one down at the top, and see, you can't see that it is pointed up there now. I also have this fall grass that came from Dollar Tree that I pulled out of my stash too, and I just thought it needed something extra. Believe me, if you've been around for a while, you know I am extra, and I always tend to put a little too much on my crafts for some people's liking, but I love it, and so I'm gonna stick some of these in. I actually take some off and cut them down because they were a little too big for me in the end, but I am sticking them in so it can have just a little bit more of a decoration, and I really like how that turned out. Now, next I pulled out from Dollar Tree is some berry garland because I just thought it could use a little more. Like I said, I'm extra, and today I was a little extra with this. So I just took off a piece and I twisted it around my finger, and I'm going to be sticking that on as well. I actually take off another piece and do that too and stick it on there, but I don't think I filmed it. And then, like I said, I am going to be using this small ribbon from Dollar Tree that has orange pumpkins on a white background. I just thought it needed a little bit of something to go right above where the leaf is attached. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I wanted to. I love when I get to use a lot of my craft supplies, and since I had this, I went ahead and I cut off the ends to use it. I wrapped the middle around with some gold floral wire. I think I didn't get that on camera, but I did that and then fluffed it. And then I'm going to take that extra piece of gold floral wire after I cut off the ends here and just tuck it down between the leaf and glue it on there. And then I can move on to the next step. So I'm just twisting it a little tighter so the two pieces will fit between there. Put a little hot glue on it, tuck it, and I give it a little extra fluff, and then we are ready to move on to our last and final step, which is taking this baker's twine and making a new hanger for it. So I'm just gonna cut off a piece, and then I'm gonna feed it back through the holes. I try to do this before I put any kind of thing around it because I thought it was small enough I could get it through, but I'm gonna add a little dot of hot glue to the end of this so that it goes right through. You can use a piece of tape, some people do that, or some people actually use like a very tiny crochet hook, but I put a little hot glue on there and I twist it on there with my fingers. I have asbestos hands, so it doesn't bother me. And then I'm just gonna double knot it off the back. I do remove the glue just because if I was gifting this to someone, I would have been a little more careful with it, but I'm keeping this for myself, and so I just double knot the back of it, and then I do the same thing to the other side. And here it is, all finished. I love how this turned out. My pumpkin might be a little wonky. Like I said, you guys could probably do a little bit of a better job with it, but I thought it was a cute idea to use candy corn to make a pumpkin and then say hello pumpkin with it spelled with painted like candy corn. Let me know. What do you think of this idea? Was I crazy? I don't know. But on to DIY number 2. For this one, I love doing this kind of DIY. I have done this so many different times. You're going to need the green foam wreath from Dollar Tree and all of these cupcake liner holders. These are decorative and they have a pumpkin theme. As you can see, I already have them spread out everywhere. I usually show you guys all my supplies, but really you're going to use the pumpkin themed, or they had a leaf theme too, of the cupcake holders, and you are going to simply glue them around this wreath, and we're making a cupcake wreath. I leave them a little bit too big for the wreath so I can crisscross them on the back, and I am going to be doing one of this green theme one because the bottoms of those, they looked horrible anyway. They weren't centered. And then I absolutely love this one with the white background. It has like teal pumpkins and a lighter orange pumpkin, and so I'm going to cut those out and use 2 of those. So it's going to be 2 white ones to 1 green one all the way around. And I put the green one on first, and now I'm putting on the white one, and I started from the top portion, I'm saying the portion that was facing me, gluing down the white, and then bringing it up and under and over and gluing it down from the back. And so then the next one that I'm going to do, which is not going to be the green, I'm doing a second white one there. I'm going to cut this one out too. And this is a tedious process. I do apologize. You will see in a second. I will show you an easier way to cut all of them out. You can cut them out in groups instead of individually. But this time when I glue the back, I glued from the top the first time. Now I'm going to glue from the back, the bottom, like the underneath first, and then wrap around to the top going over. And we're going to alternate that each time we put down a wrapper. It helps so they don't unravel ever, and it also helps to make it lay nicer and look better when you do it this way. I hope you understand that. So now here I am. I'm going to cut another green one and I think I put that on all the way. I'm sorry guys. This was fun to do, and I was just trying to show you guys how easy it was. Here I am taking a stack of them. There's probably like 5 or 6 of them in the stack, and I'm cutting them all at once. This is the best way to do it. I usually don't cut like 10 or so at a time because these tend to shift when you have them super thick, unless you have really good scissors, and I'm using the little craft scissors from Dollar Tree. So I do cut about 5 or 6 of them at a time instead. So now it's just putting them on and going around this. It does take a little while, and I do try to put the glue on the back and then pull the liner a little bit past the glue to put it on, and then it works out really well. So here, I didn't make you watch me do it, but I want to show you how I do the last one in case people were a little confused. So I put down a drop of glue and I pull up the other cupcake liner, and I make sure I still follow the pattern. So I put on what would be like the top area first, and then I make sure I get it all the way in and underneath the green liner, and then glue it down, and it works out really well. So then next we are going to put on a hanger. I pulled out some ribbon. This one right here has some glitter on it, and I think it came from Big Lots. It was only $2 for it, but it matches the colors of this perfectly. Also, this one from Michael's that's really thin would make a great liner or hanger too, but I didn't like the fact that it was plaid. So I am going to open up this one here, and it's too wide to make a hanger for this small thing. So I'm going to fold it in half because the top of it's folded in half too, and I'm going to cut off the outer sections of this. I was going to use one of the outer sections, but there's a wire in it, and it's only wire on the one side, so that was a little weird. So I'm going to cut off the other side for the other outer section as well. And then I'm going to use this that's left as a hanger. It still is too wide for it too, even though I just didn't cut this one evenly. I'm going to test it out around there, and then I do cut off a little bit more of it. You'll see that it doesn't look that wide when I'm done with it. So there it is. I glue it down to the front of the green cupcake liner because that's just where I'm calling the top. And then I'm going to take and put some of the leaves that I was going to use for the last project on here. I'm gonna put 4 of them on all together. This is what I decided to do. I put 2 going the opposite ways, and then I'm gonna put 1 kind of sideways coming down, and then glue the 4th one on top of that one coming down, so it just hangs down a little longer. I wanted it to hang down a little bit into the inside, but not like way far down. So then I have these little glitter pumpkins that are over on the side. As you can see, they come on stems, and they came in a bag from Dollar Tree. I had them in my stash from last year. I never used them because I didn't know what I'd use glitter, but since there's glitter in the hanger, I thought this would be a cute addition. So I'm just gluing 3 of them down around at the top, and once that's done, all of the cupcake holders came with little picks that you could stick in your cupcake, and these had ones that said welcome fall, so I'm literally just putting 1 in the top, and this is completely done. I love how it turned out. I think it's really pretty. These are so fun to do, and they always make a statement. People always ask me when they see these that I've made, is that cupcake liner? So I'm like, yeah, and they're just around a foam wreath, and you can put it around any foam wreath. Like, you can do a bigger one. I've done these where I had a bigger one with one color and then a smaller one with another color in the middle, and everyone's always loved them. So now on to our final DIY number 3. I have this thrifted reform that I got from, I think it was St. Vincent de Paul. It was $2.99, but I got it on 50% off day. I have this greenery from Joanns. These little wheat things that came from Hobby Lobby, they were like $1.99 half off. I think this came from Hobby Lobby too, but I really don't know. It's a decorative grass. I have these silver dollars that came from Dollar Tree this year. And I'm showing you a bunch of ribbon that goes really well with this color scheme, but I never used any of it. And then these 3 pumpkins from Dollar Tree, they're the sweater pumpkins, and these beads that came from Hobby Lobby. So we're going to start off with the grass. I love the colors of this. I love the grass, and I actually had this in a vase that I was thinking I was just going to use it with, but then I remembered how much I wanted to use them for crafts, so I'm just cutting them off and sticking them all the way around this form, just like this. I figured you guys didn't want to watch me do this. You just stick them in the form, and I had some extra ones, and where some of them were really super long, I cut off pieces when they were too long and I didn't like them. I still have some left, and so I'm going to save it to stick pieces in where I think I need them later on. I know I should have showed you a little bit more, but we're on to our 3rd DIY, and it's just easy. You just stick them in. They have wire in them. You can bend them so they go around, and I didn't put them all the way around the wreath, as you can see. So I peeled off all of the actual pieces of the silver dollars. They just come off in groups. I have them in a bright orange, there's a green set, and then there's a yellow set. So that's 3 full picks. And then I had some that were left over from a project I did that I didn't film, so I'm actually going to put about half of another pick in there too. And as you can see, I'm just sticking them in and adding some hot glue on there. It is Gorilla hot glue. Now let me just tell you, my glue gun is a high heat glue gun. So some of these things on the little thin pieces of plastic will start to melt. So that's why I'm putting the glue on the wreath and then shoving the picks in there so they can just sit where they go. If I put the glue on even those little grass pieces that are super thin, it will melt them. So I'm being really careful for that. So now I'm just going to continue filling it in where I think it needs to be filled in, and then move on to our next step, which is this greenery. And I don't know what it's called, but I do like the little picks that are at the top, and I do like the leaves. I'm going to go ahead and use a bunch of those in this too. I like the coloring so far, but I think it just needs something to boost it. So I'm gonna put some glue on the edges of these because they're nice and thick and it won't melt. It's heavier duty plastic. And then I'm gonna tuck some of the green leaves underneath some of the silver dollars just to give it some more dimension. I'm basically putting the green in and then putting like the little picks that came off the green right near the green or right on top of the green just to fill it in. And I'm also trying to fill in any blank spaces that I think needs covering up. Where I'm putting everything, I want pretty much to cover up the entire grapevine wreath. It's going to be a nice full wreath. I'm making this for myself, for my door. If you decide to make something like this, you can decorate it any kind of way that you like. So now that I've done that, I pulled off the little berry picks. I just cut them all off with some wire cutters. I figured you guys didn't need to see this. You can cut these easily with just a pair of scissors too. And I'm going to be tucking them in. I have two different types. One of them has just green and a little like rusty orange on it, and the other one has white, some gold, and some green and orange on them. So I'm just spacing them out so no two are identical next to each other, and I'm filling them into the wreath. As you can see the grapevine at the top, open section. That's where I thought I was going to put my ribbon, but this wreath doesn't need any ribbon on it. It is just really nice the way that it is. So I am just going to tuck all of these in, and then we'll move on to the next part, which is here is putting on our pumpkins. So I have these miter shears, and they are great. I don't know why I thought I was going to cut the white one all the way down to the pumpkin, and I just couldn't get them in there to do it. But I changed my approach on the green one and on the orange one, and left a little stem, which actually works better because then the stem can go into the pumpkin wreath, into the grapevine wreath, and the pumpkin can sit down in there better. So I cut them longer on those two, and I'm saving those dowels. I never throw anything away, remember that, because you can use it for another project. So I'm going to put them on here just like this at the bottom, and I'm trying to figure out, you know, how I want them to sit. Do I want them to sit flat? Do I want them to sit sideways? And I decided on flat, and I'm going to put a bunch of Gorilla Hot Glue on this white one especially, and I'm going to hold it and let it start to solidify a little so it doesn't run through my grapevine wreath, and then put it down. All this footage is sped up, so just know it was a lot longer that I held it. And I'm going to do the same thing, but not as much glue. I make sure I get some on the extra sweater material and a bunch onto where the dowel was in there. And then I'm going to move and make sure I get it down into the grapevine wreath. That way it is glued in more than one area. And these silly beads didn't want to stay where they were, so I had to fight with them for a second there. Then I'm going to do the same thing and glue down the orange one. And it has a much longer stem, so I'm going to definitely be able to get that down into the wreath. I love the colors of all of these. It's perfect. The color scheme for this wreath is going to go great on my porch for fall, because that's where I'm going to put it, because I have a covered porch. And then finally we are going to use some of the little weed stems that came from Hobby Lobby. I'm taking each individual one off because they're not in groups that stay together real well, and I'm just tucking them in for a different pop of colors. Some of them have like a rust look to them, some of them are a little more brown, some of them are a little more yellow, and that's going to help me fill in some spaces. Plus I turned around and I filled in any other spaces that I thought were not full enough with pieces that I had left over, and this is how it turned out. I love it. I like traditional colors. This is something different that I've never made before, and I'm so happy with it. So that is it for this video. Comment down below which one of these was your favorite project, and are you going to try any of them for yourself? And if you do, please let me know and send me some pictures. I love to see when you guys make the items that I make, and I will be featuring some of them over on my Instagram stories. Also, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and if you are not a subscriber here at Lacee Space, go ahead, click that subscribe button if you like. Hang out with us for a while. We have a lot of fun here. I am going to be bringing to you another kind of fall themed DIY, and then I think I'm going to be diving into Christmas DIYs really soon here, probably by the weekend. So you might want to stick around with that, or you can check out some of my videos that I will have linked down in my description box. Those are fall DIYs, but I have a lot of Christmas DIYs on my channel already for inspiration if you're looking for that too. So that is it, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye, loves.